Looking for some amazing vegan Creole recipes? Here we go. Here's a trick. If your man calls himself being mad at you, all you have to do is make the best gumbo ever, and then he will bend to your will. That's what I did last night. I toasted my flour, and then I added in my oil. Someone from New Orleans taught me how to make my roux this way, and this was a 10-minute roux. I love it. I added in my Holy Trinity, some garlic, and then just kept blending that. Then in a separate pan, I fried up my okra and my Beyond sausage. Then I added in my vegan shrimp, which was really hard for me to find in the Philly, South Jersey area. I also added in some chopped tomatoes, and then all of my okra and my sausage, 4 cups of water, my Creole seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, and some chopped up nori sheets to give me more of that seafood flavor. Mixed it all together, and 25 minutes in the pressure cooker. I have this beautiful gumbo here. Put a little brown rice on that, some green onion, and it was yummy. This is in my traditional meals recipe guide. Get the recipe guide for the full recipe. Do you know what étouffée is? It's like a smothered stuffed gravy / stew that's filled with yummy, yummy ingredients. As a matter of fact, that's the origin of the word étouffée, stuffed and smothered. So I made this 4 mushroom étouffée. I use 4 different kinds of mushrooms. I use my celery, onion, garlic, jalapeno, a little bit more garlic. I use Creole seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, and of course some vegan butter. Then I started adding in my mushrooms. You can also add your slurry, which is your flour and water, to make that yummy gravy. This is in my recipe guide, by the way. Did you miss my live stream tonight on Amazon and Facebook? Well, if you did, you missed a beautiful thing. I made this smothered okra. This was a dish that I veganized from Chef Kenneth Temple from New Orleans. I saw him do this on YouTube, and I decided to veganize it. I use a little sausage, a little lion's mane mushroom, of course, okra, the Holy Trinity, some tomato paste. And this thing was delicious. I could literally eat this once a week because I love okra, and this was so good. My daughter went to the market the other day and got me a very big, giant lion's mane. So I made crab cakes already. Now I'm thinking of making vegan Creole crab dip. So I take my onion, my potato, and some raw cashews, boil that together to make a nice soft base for a creamy base. Then I chop up my spinach, and I pick my lion's mane, and I saute that all together with onions and set that aside. Then I go back to my boiled mixture, add a little plant milk, a little fresh garlic, some seaweed, and also some Old-Bay seasoning. Blend that together into a nice cream mixture. Then I take my spinach, add that inside, also some vegan cheese, bake it for about 25 minutes, and you have a beautiful vegan Creole crab dip. This is a yummy Creole spaghetti. Just delicious, delicious, delicious. So good. So what I did was I took oyster mushrooms and I sauteed them in seaweed and olive oil. Then I put in my peppers, my onion, and some garlic, and I kept sauteing that. And I put in some onion powder and garlic powder and Creole seasoning. Then I just used jarred tomato sauce and a small can of coconut milk. Sauteed that all together, put in your pasta with a little pasta water, and you're ready. It's good to go. Top it with some basil and some vegan Parmesan. Yum, 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 yum. I made the most yummy blackened oyster mushrooms with a creamy, creamy pasta. It was so good. I veganized this. It was delicious. I took big pieces of oyster mushrooms because I wanted to have big meaty pieces. Then I took some melted vegan butter and I slathered that all over my pieces, making sure everything was covered. Then I used fresh pressed garlic because I don't believe in garlic paste and garlic. I like to press my garlic every time. I get that medicinal garlic benefits, and it just tastes delicious. Press that out. Made sure that I covered my mushrooms with the garlic and also blackened seasoning very well. Then I took a screaming hot pan, placed my mushrooms on top of there with my seasoning and my garlic, and then I placed a cast iron on top to smash that down, make sure my seasoning's well, it's black and beautiful. It was just amazing. Then to make my creamy Alfredo sauce, I used some soaked cashews, onions, and garlic, a little vegan shrimp I added inside, some more vegan butter, and then I also added in some coconut milk with some mushroom seasoning. Let that all meld together with my pasta, a little pasta water, added a little parsley on top and then placed my mushrooms on top. And that thing was so yummy. I got leftovers for tonight. My husband has fallen even deeper in love with me because I veganized this greens gumbo that I have been seeing all over the internet. He loves gumbo, but he doesn't necessarily love okra, so this was a great solution. Now, the people in New Orleans told me this little trick of toasting your flour first, put it in your oil second, and that speeds up the time of making your roux. And baby, this is how I'm doing it. From now on, that is it. It's a wrap. So I used some vegan sausage and a little onion powder, garlic powder, and also my holy trinity, which was peppers, onions, celery, and of course some garlic. Then I put my roux in, mixed that all together with the veggies and the sausage, put in some gumbo filet, and also some ground bay leaves. And this is the way I chop my greens in my food processor, nice and thin, so that way I could use my stems as well. And I use 3 types of greens: mustard, turnip, and collard, and a little vegan shrimp with some seaweed, and boy, oh boy, those greens, whoo, that gumbo, we having that again tonight. Delicious, so good. It was cold, wet, and rainy today, so I decided to make myself a nice warm bowl of portobello Yakamein. I started with my thinly sliced portobello mushrooms that I tossed in olive oil, garlic, salt, and pepper, and I roasted that. Then I took some dried mushrooms and I started making a broth from that with a little garlic. Once I had simmered that for about 25 minutes, I removed the dried mushrooms and I added in some better than bouillon, non-beef, of course, also some mushroom seasoning, some Worcestershire sauce that was vegan, and also organic soy sauce. Then I added in a little more fresh onion and some olive oil to make a nice broth. I also added in some leftover taco meat that I had because it's still seasoning. And then I added in my brown rice noodles, and it made a nice soup. So then I decided to start layering my soup with the noodles and of course with the broth. Then I added in some more fresh onions, a little fresh garlic. Then I added in my mushrooms that I had already grilled, and then some fried shallots and a little chili crunch and some culantro. You could use cilantro here. It was so good. It warmed my soul on this cold day. So this was my first time making Boudin balls. Very good. I love them. So I took some oyster mushrooms and also some chanterelle mushrooms and some baby button mushrooms. So I got all that mushroom flavor. Sauteed that, put a little parsley, green onions, some Cajun seasoning, and some leftover dirty rice that I had. So it was already seasoned up rice. Then I put it inside of a bottle vegan egg and some panko and flour, and then deep fried that. Yes, I deep fried it, and it was delicious, crunchy, crispy, yummy, tasty. And I got some left over, so I'm about to make some more. Just looking at this is making me hungry. Yum. Last night's dinner was Oyster Mushroom Po Boy's subs made with Atlantic City sub bread. It was so good. I first started with a seasoned flour and water based wet batter. Then I had already seasoned up New Orleans style cornmeal batter for dry. Fried that up in grapeseed oil, nice and golden. Drained it out, and then I made myself a very great little sauce to go on my sub. So I started with some parsley, some nutritional yeast, some garlic, some vegan mayonnaise, smoked paprika, and some lime juice. And then I just slathered that on lettuce, tomato, onion, already dressed sub bread. And then I topped it with my oyster mushrooms and doused that in hot sauce. Oh my God, it was so good. I veganized fried fish and grits with enoki mushrooms, and let me tell you something, it was delicious. You can take 1 pack of enoki mushrooms and it gives you this many vegan fish to fry, and that's a lot. It was enough for 3 people. I use all-purpose flour and also some Creole seasoning and Old Bay seasoning and a little beer to lighten up my wet batter. Mix that up very well, and then I put in some spicy seaweed snacks, and just so that gives you the ocean flavor there. Put my enoki mushrooms in the wet and then into the dry, shook it up, and into the grapeseed oil, which is nice and hot. And just continue to fry that up until it gets golden brown and crispy and yummy. And put that with some grits. I use yellow grits, and do not forget the hot sauce. I love okra, corn, and tomatoes, but I especially love it when it's raw. So that's how I made this okra, corn, and tomato salad. I cut up my fresh okra, and you get less slime this way too. Then I cut my tomatoes nice and fresh. Next, I cut some shallots to go inside my okra, corn, and tomatoes, mix that up, and then I air fried a little corn. Sometimes I do fresh corn off the cob, but today I air fried it. And then I added a little sugar, salt, olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and pepper, and it was ready to go. Yum, 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 yum.